global epidemic, breaking the silence on gender inequality. For over 25 years, I've heard stories of resilience, strength, struggle, and pain inflicted simply because they were born female. This isn't just their fight, it's all of our fight. It's time to listen, to learn, and most importantly, to act. Afghanistan, a shadow over women's lives. Nearly 9 out of 10 Afghan women have experienced some form of domestic violence in their lifetime. From forced marriages to limited access to education and healthcare, the deck is stacked against them from birth. The Taliban's rule has exacerbated this dire situation, pushing women further into the shadows. We must stand with them, amplify their voices, and demand better. The Democratic Republic of Congo, where violence is a weapon. Here, rape is a weapon of war, used to terrorize and displace. Over 1,000 women are raped every day in the DRC. These women are mothers, daughters, sisters, friends, left to pick up the pieces, often ostracized by their communities. The ongoing conflict has created a culture of impunity, where perpetrators walk free. We must demand accountability and support organizations providing aid to these survivors. Pakistan honor killings and a culture of silence. Hundreds, if not thousands, are killed each year in the name of honor. These killings are often carried out by family members, a chilling testament to deeply ingrained beliefs. Victims are often afraid to speak out, fearing for their lives. This silence empowers perpetrators, allowing them to act with impunity. We must break this silence and demand justice. Chapter 4. India, a battle against deep-rooted patriarchy. A crime against a woman is committed every 3 minutes in India. Despite progress, the deeply entrenched patriarchal mindset continues to permeate society. The issue of dowry, despite being illegal, continues to plague countless families. But amidst these challenges, women are rising up, demanding their rightful place in society. They are using their voices to raise awareness and advocate for change. Chapter 5. Somalia, a silent crisis of trauma and despair. Over 90% of Somali women have experienced female genital mutilation. This practice, deeply rooted in cultural traditions, has devastating physical and psychological effects. Many young girls undergo this procedure, often without anesthesia, leading to severe pain, infections, and long-term health complications. The trauma inflicted is not just physical, but also emotional, leaving scars that last a lifetime. Beyond FGM, Somali women face high rates of domestic violence, sexual assault, and forced marriage. These issues are exacerbated by the ongoing conflict and instability in the region. Women and girls are often seen as commodities, traded and married off without their consent. The lack of legal protections and societal support makes it difficult for them to escape these cycles of abuse. The breakdown of social structures has created an environment where women are particularly vulnerable. In refugee camps and conflict zones, the absence of security and basic services leaves women and children exposed to further exploitation and violence. The constant threat of harm looms over their daily lives, making survival a daily struggle. Many suffer from PTSD, depression, and anxiety with limited access to mental health care. The psychological toll of their experiences is immense, yet mental health services are scarce. The stigma surrounding mental health issues further prevents women from seeking the help they desperately need. Without proper support, their mental health continues to deteriorate. We cannot ignore the plight of Somali women any longer. Their resilience in the face of such adversity is remarkable, but they cannot do it alone. It is imperative that we listen to their voices and amplify their stories. Advocacy and awareness are crucial steps towards change. The international community must step up its efforts to provide humanitarian aid and support programs aimed at ending FGM. Comprehensive strategies that include education, healthcare, and legal reforms are essential. By working together, we can help build a safer and more equitable future for Somali women and girls. Chapter 6. Guatemala, where femicide casts a long shadow. Guatemala has one of the highest rates of femicide in the world, with an average of 2 women killed every day. The justice system has failed to protect women, allowing perpetrators to act with impunity. But even in the face of such adversity, brave women are rising up, demanding justice. They are forming support groups, organizing protests, and pushing for legal reforms. Their voices are growing louder with each passing day. Our journey brings us now to South Sudan, a nation grappling with the devastating legacy of civil war. The scars of conflict are etched into the landscape, visible in the ruins of villages and the haunted eyes of its people. This is a country where the echoes of gunfire and the cries of the displaced have become a tragic symphony of daily life. South Sudan has one of the highest rates of child marriage in the world, with over 50% of girls married before their 18th birthday. These young brides are often forced into marriage due to economic hardship and the breakdown of social structures. The dreams of education and a brighter future are snatched away, replaced by the harsh realities of early motherhood and domestic responsibilities. The breakdown of law and order has created a breeding ground for gender-based violence. In the chaos of conflict, women and girls are particularly vulnerable, facing threats not only from armed groups, but also from within their own communities. The lack of security and justice means that perpetrators often go unpunished, perpetuating a cycle of violence and fear. Rape is used as a weapon of war, and domestic violence is rampant. These acts of violence leave deep physical and emotional scars, affecting not just the victims but entire communities. The trauma inflicted is long-lasting, with survivors often struggling to find support and healing in a society where such issues are stigmatized and overlooked. The psychological scars of conflict run deep, with limited access to mental health care. Many women and girls suffer in silence, their pain invisible to the world. The lack of mental health services means that trauma goes untreated, leading to long-term consequences for individuals and their families. The need for comprehensive mental health support is urgent and critical. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to their plight. The suffering of these women and girls is a humanitarian crisis that demands our attention and action. Their resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship is a testament to their strength, but they cannot do it alone. They need our support, our voices, and our commitment to change. The international community must step up its efforts to provide humanitarian aid and support programs aimed at protecting women and girls from violence. This includes not only immediate relief, but also long-term initiatives that address the root causes of conflict and displacement. By investing in education, healthcare, and economic opportunities, we can help build a future where the women and girls of South Sudan can thrive in peace and security. Chapter 8: Mexico, a mother's cry for justice. Mexico is grappling with an epidemic of femicides, with an average of 10 women murdered every day. The culture of impunity has allowed violence against women to flourish. But amidst the darkness, there are flickers of hope. Mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends are taking to the streets, demanding justice and an end to the violence. Chapter 9: Nigeria, fighting for education, fighting for the future. Boko Haram has waged a campaign of terror aimed at silencing women and denying them their basic human rights. This militant group has targeted schools, especially those attended by girls, in an attempt to instill fear and halt their education. The conflict has left many areas in ruins, with families torn apart and communities living in constant fear. They have kidnapped thousands of girls from their schools, forcing them into marriages and subjecting them to unimaginable horrors. These young girls, who once had dreams of becoming doctors, teachers, and leaders, are now facing a grim reality. Their education, their freedom, and their futures have been stolen from them. But even in the face of such adversity, the spirit of resistance burns bright. Nigerian women and girls are standing up, raising their voices, and demanding their right to education and freedom. Protests and movements have sprung up across the country, showcasing the unyielding determination of these brave individuals. Brave girls are risking their lives to pursue an education, understanding that it is a weapon against oppression. They attend makeshift schools, study in secret, and continue to dream of a better future. Their resilience and courage are a testament to the power of education and the human spirit. We must stand with them and support their right to an education. International communities, organizations, and individuals have a role to play in this fight. By providing resources, raising awareness, and advocating for policy changes, we can help ensure that every girl in Nigeria has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. Together, we can make a difference and help build a brighter future for these young girls. Chapter 10: Iceland, a beacon of hope in the global fight for gender equality. Iceland has held the title of the world's most gender-equal country for 12 consecutive years. From a young age, Icelandic children are taught about gender equality in action. Iceland has implemented policies aimed at closing the gender gap, from generous parental leave to equal pay legislation. Iceland's journey offers a powerful reminder that change is possible and progress is within reach. Chapter 11: A call to action. It's time to rise. We cannot afford to turn away from the suffering of millions of women and girls around the world. Their fight is our fight, and the time for action is now. Support organizations working tirelessly on the front lines, fighting for women's rights. Together, we can be the change we want to see in the world.